Hello and welcome everybody to another ACCP podcast. My name is Oliver Grundmann and it's my great pleasure to welcome a fellow STEP committee member, Dr. Nithya Srinivas. Welcome, Dr. Srinivas.
Hi, thank you, Oliver. It's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Nithya Srinivas and I'm a research investigator at Insight, the Department of Clinical Pharmacokinetics. And so in this role, I serve as a project lead for several assets, mainly in oncology, and also assist my clin pharm colleagues with their activities.
That's awesome. So within ACCP, we have this unique combination of industry and academia and also regulatory. And can you describe a little bit more in detail what your current work and research entails, and especially since you are a member of the STEP committee and a very active member of that, how you transitioned into your current role from your graduate work?
Sure. So I guess I'll go a little bit also into my background to talk about that. So I have a bachelor in pharmacy, which I obtained from India, and then I came here to do my PhD from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the laboratory of Angela Kashuba. And I think being in that laboratory was itself a great way for me to transition into the role I am today, because even though it was academia, Angela had a lot of collaboration with industry. So she had several active grants. Her lab itself was like a small company, if you will. So sometimes I've heard that when you're transitioning from academia, where you do this one very focused thing, and then going to industry where you have a lot of things and a lot of different players, that might be challenging. But I think for me, being in such a lab really helped with that transition. And the other thing that was very helpful for me was when I first joined my PhD program, I thought that I was going to go into academia, and I had that all planned out. But I also wanted to just know what was out there. So I took an internship opportunity in the end of my third year. And I think that ended up going a lot better than I expected. So that helped me decide that this was going to be the next role rather than going into academia. And that was a fun conversation that I had with Angela. But yes, that's really kind of my, I guess, the reason why I decided to go into this field.
Wonderful, yeah. So your current role is really related, or is directly within the Center of Clinical Pharmacology, if I understand correctly.
Yes. So I guess we're more clinical pharmacokinetics. So we are we're the project lead, and that is like for early patient studies, for clinical pharmacology studies. We also have a dedicated clinical pharmacology group, but we're a very mid-sized company, so we all help each other out. And so I do support them in terms of, like, if they're writing a protocol, what the PK considerations are going into that protocol, different study design considerations. So it's really getting to learn, the clin pharm side of things, as well as the pharmacometrics and the different types of analyses and the overall big picture of where it stands in drug development.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I think that is something. We are currently at the ACCP annual meeting in Chicago, 2019, and yesterday we had the STEP panel, and part of that was actually a discussion of how smaller, mid-sized, or larger industrial companies or pharmaceutical companies, what kind of different perspectives and insights you can gain. So what would you recommend then to student trainees, early stage professionals, and you're kind of still part of the early stage professionals, but in retrospect, looking back at that transition and being in a mid-sized company, what would you recommend to your fellow peers and to those who are still in the student stages? What would you recommend to them? What is the best way to get into the field?
To get into the pharmaceutical industry?
Well, but specifically in the clinical pharmacology field.
To get into clinical pharmacology. Well, I think, and I know a lot of people might be at their very late stage where it's not necessarily easy to, change a project or everything. But I think what's really helpful is to just get a broad, big picture perspective and because even my project, it was more, a translational pharmacology, but I tried to incorporate some modeling and some kind of a broader overview, which I think helped me transition into the role. So I think even within what you're trying to do, if you try to incorporate something that's a little bit more broad, it helps within the industry. I'm not sure how it is right now, but when I was going into school, even if you're a clinical pharmacologist, knowing a little bit of like the basic PK analysis is always really helpful, and I found that that was something that everyone was asking me about. So I think that taking on different opportunities for learning about your potential role, internships, workshops, ACCP has several great workshops which are directly related to clin pharm or pharmacometrics. That really helps you stand apart, so that even if what you're doing in graduate school is a little bit on the tangent of clinical pharmacology, the fact that you're willing to go and gain some specific skill sets and experiences which are more relevant to clin pharm, I think that will also help when you transition into the role. And of course, I guess the most important thing is network. I can't stress that enough. If you have posters, if you have opportunities to come to these types of meetings, talk to people around you, especially here at ACCP. Everyone's very approachable. You might find that someone has a path very similar to yours, and you can actually gain a lot of experience there. Stand out, share your resume. I think especially to get into this type of a field where communication is key, it's great to just talk to everyone and find out.
Yeah, I think really, I think we both have been in the position where coming to ACCP and then the networking experience here has been just very positive. I now really enjoy giving back to new members, welcoming new members, and it's just this open atmosphere, this welcoming atmosphere within ACCP that really makes me want to come back. It's really a very welcoming atmosphere. So in that regard, within the STEP committee, within your work that you dedicate yourself to, with the work that you do for ACCP, I assume you're quite busy doing all of that, but what do you do when you're actually not working, when you really try to get it all out and your free time, basically?
Well, when I'm not working, I'm writing. I wish. Life would be great, huh? No, so when I'm not working, I really do like to spend time with my friends and family around me. I enjoy traveling and really exploring a lot of different cultures. So I am also originally from India, and so going back there is a little too much, but just traveling in general is something that I'm really fond of. And I guess I also like going around listening to different types of music. When I was in North Carolina, I really got into the opera.
Oh.
Yeah. While here at Chicago, we did check out the blues. Different types of music. I'm really interested in that.
Okay, so I wouldn't have thought that North Carolina, and no offense to North Carolina, but would be a large magnet for the opera world.
I guess it's not, okay, so I guess it's not North Carolina. It was more a member of my lab who was a part of the opera. So she did that in her free time. Yeah, she was a performing member. So she gave me tickets, and at first I was like, the opera, really? But there were free tickets, so I said, okay.
What did you listen to, if I may ask? Which performance?
I don't remember which one it was.
Well, it must have been interesting enough to draw you back in.
No, it was more because she took me to so many. So I don't remember what my first one was. I went to so many.
Yeah.
And then I think in 1 year I went to like 4 or 5 of those. They were all in the NC Performing Arts in Durham, and there was one in Raleigh. And they have a great program there where, you even, if you're a student, you kind of get really good seats. So I was sitting right in the front with the people who paid a lot for their tickets.
There we go. Yeah, that's good.
But that was a great experience. So now the next plan is to go check out the Philadelphia scene. and see what they have going on there.
Oh, Philadelphia has a great Philharmonic Orchestra.
Yes.
I can attest to that. I think they had a wonderful director in residence, at least. So definitely, I agree with you, because I know a little bit at least about philharmonic orchestras and symphony orchestras. So I can attest to the opera scene, but I can attest a little bit to the philharmonic field and to the symphonic.
I'm sorry, Don Giovanni.
Don Giovanni, Mozart. My, it's a little bit heavy. Don Giovanni's a little bit heavy.
What was it?
Don Giovanni. Yeah. It's the father issue that we all at some point have in our life. Anyways, I really appreciate you taking the time, Dr. Srinivas. It's a pleasure to have you on the STEP committee and to work with you. And whenever you have questions about opera now, it's Nithya Srinivas to ask.
And I'll refer you to my former colleague. No, but thank you. I have to say that volunteering here has been a great experience for me as well. I think for the past year, Casey Anderson, who's the other co-chair of STEP, and Krista, you guys have all been very welcoming and really provided me so many opportunities to kind of give back. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, and you are the ones who are doing the work. We very much, as you know, ACCP is a membership-driven organization, and it's because of members like you who are engaged, who are really involved with the organization, that makes ACCP the great organization that is so welcoming to members. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody for listening, and look forward to the next podcast. Bye everybody.